Here we see a force simulation program. And let's just explain what you see as you see it. There are some prompts here. Don't know if you can read these on the screen because of the focusing properties and the light properties of the camera. But you're asked for simulation speed factor. You can just take the default setting to start with. That's all I'm doing here. Number of simulations to run, 10 is a default. And we're going to watch what happens. Now here's a particle moving into a region of uniform force along these lines. The force is either in this direction or this direction. And by observing the motion of the object through that force field, we can determine something about what that motion is. Now, this object is relatively thick. It's leaving a trail. It's relatively large. The force field here is relatively sparse. When the lines are close together, it's a strong force field. When they're far apart, it's a weak force field. When the object is big, it has a lot of mass. When it's small, it doesn't have very much mass. Up here at the top of the screen, we have a printout of the initial speed and direction and the speed and direction of the particle after going through the field. Now, this is a light particle entering this field, and it's a strong field. So we see the speed changing fairly rapidly, and actually the particle's turning around and coming back. That tells us something about the direction of the force field. We have the initial angle and the final angle, and actually I think there's something wrong with the final angle in this program. I'll have to fix that. Again, a force field. We don't know whether it's this direction or this direction, but in this case the particle's speeding up, being pulled toward the force field, and we conclude that the force is in this direction. Now, a large particle approaching a weak force field probably isn't going to experience a whole lot of change in its direction or its speed. The speed changed from 8.7 to 9.08, direction from negative 17 degrees to negative 19 degrees. Now, light particle, strong field, we expect some real changes. And the speed changed from 10 to 20. The direction didn't change all that much, but the particle was initially pretty close to the direction of the field. Let's see what happens here. Well, that one got repelled. It just kind of got rejected very quickly. Now this one sped up considerably from 7 to 48 units of speed, and the direction clearly changed. And this is the kind of thing that we're going to observe here. Again, direction clearly changed down this way, 9 degrees to 30-some degrees or whatever it was. I didn't get to see it. Now let's see what happens here. Particle's fairly massive and fairly weak field. Let's see. Okay, well, the field turned the charge around, but it took a little bit of time. Or the field turned the mass around. It took a little time. So the field was obviously pointing back in this direction toward us, toward this side of the screen. Okay, that's just a sample of the kind of things you can look at, and we'll talk about how you might analyze some of these things.